Good morning, scrappers and scrapettes, recyclers, friends of the channel, and everybody else. So I have just kind of a pile of odds and ends to scrap through this morning. I'm trying to scrap things that I can put into the eBay store. I can't believe how busy that has been. Basically, I charge exactly what I would sell it to one of my online refiners for, and I just make it available to you guys. I don't have to sell e-scrap. I can just put it in a box and ship it off to a buyer. But, you guys are important to me, and I know it's hard to get e-scrap, so if I can sell it to you pre-cleaned and everything else, well, so be it. I haven't tried to open this yet, and I will honestly tell you I have never seen this actual item. This is a hard drive. It is a non-SATA, because it has all these gold pins, hard drive. It's heavy. This is probably an aluminum case. I'll check it with the magnet after. Quantum Bigfoot CY. I don't remember what I got this out of. I think, and I really do mean think, it was very old. Well, obviously old, it's vintage. I don't remember what I pulled it out of. I do know that whatever I pulled it out of was totally roached. So, there's no resale here because it probably won't work. I can't remember what I got it out of. I think 5 or 6 videos ago, I got a bunch of beige colored computers. And for those of you who know when you get those beige computers, sometimes you're lucky enough to get something really cool inside of it. So, I think that's where I got these from. It wasn't branded. I found out from Custom Computers that a lot of those older beige computer cases, because they have so many expansion slots and ports in them, a lot of people will take those shells and convert it over to a gaming computer. And that's what I think that batch of computers actually was. Let's see if I can get a little bit better view for you. Someday I will get the upstairs set up for a Zoom room. The problem is the upstairs of this house gets very hot, and because I'm here alone, I don't want to run the air conditioning upstairs. Yes, I'm cheap. So I tend to stay on the middle level and outside during the summer. But when it cools off a little bit and I can get up there, we'll put the Zoom room in up there. One thing at a time. I got the outside to where I can enjoy it. I've dubbed it the Oasis. Yes, redundant, but that's what I call it. And I was very grateful to have that this weekend. All right, let's go. I have to remember to set myself a timer because with TikTok, if you go over an hour and you don't see the verification thing come on, it will kick you off. And I really hate when that happens. So I will set a timer for 55 minutes. I probably will be off by then. Because I know OTD comes on sometime between 8 and 10. I want to be out of his way. I hope everybody had a really nice 4th of July weekend. I would invite you to keep a prayer for all those children and families in Texas that were impacted by the flash flood. Absolutely heartbreaking. I have no words. I just if you can find a minute today to just lift up the little angels in heaven in Texas, and their families. I can't even imagine what they're going through. We had I used to spend my summers on the waterfronts as a teenager and young adult. I taught swimming. I was a lifeguard. I trained swimming instructors. I taught CPR. All kinds of really cool stuff. And back in the day, I was very into Girl Scouts, and I was a lot more into Boy Scouts. Ha ha ha. And that was a terrible joke. I'm sorry. I was always scouting the boys. What can I tell you? Crap. All you need is one stupid screw to strip and you're done with this. Wait, those are... I have to check those. Those could be brass. Could be. They're heavy. Probably more likely stainless, but we'll check them after. Come on, baby. You know you want to be a nice little heart. Come apart. Shit. I'll grab a pair of pliers and try to get that up. If nothing else, I'll rip the cover off to the side. I don't care. I want to get at this board. So I hope everybody had a good holiday weekend. Good morning, user ending in 4053, I believe it was. Joseph, welcome. Jeff, welcome. This thing's going to be a stink biscuit to get apart, I can already tell. Let me see if I can find a newer bit with a little more bite. Say that 3 times fast. Newer bit, better bite. Bet you can't. So yeah, I hung out in the patio all weekend. I got a lot of PCs stripped. The car is loaded up. This has got a better bite on it. Maybe I'll be luckier here. Or not. Nothing else, it'll go quicker for you. I spent the weekend out in the Oasis. I bought a portable hot tub. I've got a little kiddie pool out there just to cool off, but I'm probably going to take that down. Oh, come on. Really? I thought this was going to have a honking big board in it. You suck. Hi, Rick. Well, this is categorized as a non-SATA high-grade board. Hard drive board. Very specific. They're hard drive board. BoardSort has 2 categories. They have non-SATA and SATA. SATA is really easy. It says SATA on the case. So anything with gold like this and chips like this, these are Lucent Technology chips. I wonder if there's a date on here. Quantum. Lucent. There is no date on this. I'll just go with freaking old, like me. Oh, what a bummer. So anyway, these are selling at a premium price right now. If I get a pound of them, I'll chuck them in the eBay store later. CT Band Instruments, for those of you who've been following. I took some of these apart already. You didn't really need to watch me unscrew all these. These are all high-grade, non-SATA. This one is too, because if I break the plastic, it's got gold fingers. If it doesn't have a lot of gold and it's really small and the chips are cheesy and it has what we call a SATA connection, SATA. See, this is a one-piece connection. This is one piece. There's no separate part for what we call the jumper. So that is a non-SATA connector. They're usually on the end of ribbon wires. And ribbon wires look like this and plug in like that. And when you find ribbon wire, most of the time you're going to find nice gold pins. And the chips are excellent on these. These are excellent for those of you who are into gold recovery. Keep an eye out for high-grade, non-SATA hard drive boards. That's what they're called. Non-SATA, high-grade hard drive boards. Scrappy D needs to start another cup of coffee. Give me a second. I'm inside today. It's unhealthily humid outside. I've got the car loaded up with all those computer cases. I wanted to go to the scrapyard, but that's not going to happen. curious to see if I can get this apart. I can't get these screws out. I can't. If these screws strip, and you know these are freaking ancient things, so you know they've gotten wet, they've gotten rusty. What I'll do is I'll take the angle grinder and I'll cut a slit right here, and then I'll take a flathead screwdriver and I'll screw that out. So I'm gonna have to wait to get to the inside of this. I won't grind things in the house. It's really toxic to grind e-waste in the house. But right now, there's no way I'm going out of there. So maybe what I'll do is I'll put the board with that hard drive, and I promise I will show you what's inside. I don't think there's going to be a lot, but you know, something that'll, the older the golder, anything prior to 2020 is going to have a much better gold content. So these are high grade non-SATA hard drive boards. They are selling right now $17, $18 a pound. So, now, for those of you who are worried about security, and well, you should, these are memory chips. So be careful who you're selling these to. I never resell hard drives. I just don't do it. I sell to people who I know are going to refine them and recover them and shred them. And then I sell this. There's a lot of gold in here. I don't have time. It's got tiny fiddly screws. It's got a magnet over here. These gold pins I'll go after. It's really time consuming. I can sell them for 25 cents a pound to my local yard, who does have the, what you call that, R2 something or other recycler license. They're obligated to shred them. So, no worries here. Scrappy D is careful. Alright. If you're going to do hard drives, you're going to need tiny Torx. I would suggest metric and standard, because you're going to need them. You're going to need a whole full set. And if you're going to do Apple computers, any kind of Apples. Good morning, Skeeter. Good morning, OTD. By the way, I'll be off before 9 o'clock when you're ready to go for your live. I should be off by maybe 8:30 at the latest. I always try to get in ahead of you so I don't step on his live. I really try to do that. I try to avoid going on when I know somebody else is on already. Like Southern Scrapper always goes on in the afternoon around 12. OTD goes on around 9. Okay, so this is a SATA connector. It probably says SATA somewhere on the front here. It doesn't. Made a liar out of me. You can tell SATA connections because, see how there's a split here? There's not one solid row like there was on this. This is for a jumper cable, and then this plugs into something else. SATA wires, you can tell they're very distinctive. Ribbon wires go with non-SATA. And I don't have any SATA cables here at the desk. They're all outside on the porch, and I'm not going out there. So there would be two cords here. A small jumper cable, and then another cable. They're usually red, orange, yellow, or blue. So this is a SATA connection. These are graded as low-grade hard drive boards. This one, you know, I actually think they need to add another category, because to me, this is still an excellent board. It has gold fingers. It has chips. I put these in with I have 3 categories of hard drive boards. The high grades that I just showed you, and then a mid-grade, and then the low grades, which are just totally garbage. But I do have those. That's just the way I grade them. I do not agree with my buyer about these boards. I respect my buyer. My buyer is an awesome human being, but I grade them differently. It's my store, and I can do whatever the hell I want. Just an opinion, guys. That's why I run these videos about, you know, what I put in the store. Like I said, most of the online buyers, they have two categories, high and low. That said, board sorting has been turned on its keister. Now this one needs a torque screwdriver. This is an HP. And board buying has been turned on its ears. I'm not even 100% sure of all the changes that have gone through. I'm at the point now where I have to review the videos. Shark Scrapper did a really good job with that too, by the way. If you want to check out the new board buying policies and grading and categories, check out Sharky. He did a good job. What happened is a company called Board Sort, and everybody follows whatever Board Sort is doing. That's what everybody else is going to follow. They were really kind of one of the first to the table with online board buying, and they're very good at it. By the way, it's a great company, great people to work with, very honest. I've never had a bad experience with Board Sort, and I've been dealing with them for a bit now. My only problem with them is shipping. I'm in Connecticut and they're in Ohio, so sometimes I save these just in case somebody says, "Hey, Dee, would you happen to have any of those?" And I keep about a dozen on hand. Okay. So anyway, what happened is, with the price of gold going up like it has, now you can see my little mug here. See, I'm nice and dry today. Yesterday I was soaking wet. I literally got out of the pool and started my video yesterday because it was hot. I was back and forth in and out of the pool all day. It was great. So what's happened is, with the change in the composition of the boards, is now the grading has been changed. No, it's just going to fall down. I mean, I can't go any higher. That's as high as she gets. Sorry, guys. What happens is, a whole board grading process has changed. I'm going to get a video about that, but I don't have enough samples of each board to show you. So basically, they did a timeline on the boards. You've heard me say a lot, boards that are pre-2020 have higher gold content. They do. I've got boards that we pulled from the IBM Blade modules from 1995. They were amazing, but they graded as a AMD motherboard. Now, I held on to those, and I took a lot of pictures, and I presented my case to one of my buyers who was interested, and then I said, I will sell them, and I'm only selling them as a high-grade telecom because that's what they are. And they agreed with me. They wanted the boards because they were loaded with gold and pins, and they were just amazing boards. Don't forget, those guys refined them. They're going to throw it into a shredder so they can get all of this gold out of there. So I guess my point is that even though they've changed the grading system, there's no one-size-fits-all. This is why it's really super important to get a good relationship with your buyer. Now, I emailed one of my other buyers and I said, hey, I want high-grade telecom for these. I won't accept nothing else. He said, I'll buy those. All day, every day is high-grade telecom. And I said, well, everybody else is telling me they're AMD boards. I said, which by all standards they are, but they're not. So as the design of the boards changed and they became more plastic and less copper, aluminum, and palladium. See, these are greenish with yellow flashing. These have, especially the thicker, older boards, they have gold, copper, God knows what else in them. Toxic to breathe in, by the way. Don't be cutting your boards in the house and get yourself sick. But the older the board, the higher the gold content. That's the crux of all of this. The older the board, the higher the gold content. There we go. The older the golder, Obi-Wan Kenobi always says that. Older the golder, newer the fewer. Good morning, Jeremiah. Yes, you're right. Alliance, Ohio, you are correct. Goldie, good morning. I try not to over-endorse any one company, but they just happen to be the standard that everybody else follows. If you go to sell boards, like, to me, just say you're in Connecticut, and hey, Dee, I got a bunch of boards. I'm going to open up the Board Sort app. I'm going to look what the market price is, and I'm going to make you an offer based on the market price, and I'm going to get it from Board Sort. Everybody who's legitimate does. And what happened is, when BoardSort changed their prices, all my other buyers changed their prices too to match what BoardSort was doing. But let me tell you, people still have no freaking idea what they're doing with this new grading. That includes me, by the way. Anyway, I digress. So as the design of the board content itself, the board composition changed, moving forward from, like, let's just say the early 90s. Remember those big yellow boards that are loaded with gold? You get them in old gaming computers, old Apple computers. They're full of ceramic and gold chips. Well, that got expensive to make because the price of gold shot way up. And as the boards became more expensive, manufacturers started changing the composition of the board. They changed it to have more plastic. They reduced the amount of gold. So as that happened, the quality of the board, not that it diminished, but it wasn't worth as much because it didn't have as much gold content. Now, with gold sitting at something like, what is it, $3,300 an ounce? Somewhere around there? God only knows what it'll be today with all this crap going on. But the precious metals in general have gone up. So to send a load of boards and say, oh, these are all the same, and they grade the same, no, that's not accurate. As the timeline progressed, the manufacturers had to get the price of these boards down, because now everybody and his duck was getting a PC for their house, right? You know, that was what, the 80s? Everybody was getting Vicks and Apples, but it became very expensive for them to manage those. And Scrappy D needs new glasses. So they changed the composition of the boards, they changed the design of the boards, they became less gold, more plastic, more copper, things like that. By the time you get into the middle of the 90s, you still got a lot of good gold content, but the CPUs are now becoming pinless. There's not those nice ceramic gold pins anymore. They're starting to design a pinless CPU. You're not kidding, Tyler. I try to really, really avoid politics on this channel, even though I'm sitting here glued to CNN to see what's happening. Not CNN. I watch the finance channel because I manage my own stock portfolio. So I kind of ignore Fridays and Mondays because they just scare me. Where was I? So as the boards evolved, they got less gold, less copper, less precious metal content in the board itself, and more plastic. So fast forward through the 90s up to the 2000s, that's where you see the biggest change in the board after like 2020. More plastic. And you'll see the colored boards come in. They were red and green and blue. They're full of plastic. This is green because it's full of copper and gold. So, yeah. Metals have been holding pretty well, although, Jeremiah, I think on Friday, copper went up to or Thursday, I think it was up to $5 a pound. Tom on the iScrap app is very good to watch for metal pricing. He's excellent. And Shark Scrapper usually does a good job on his Sunday afternoon live, if you're looking for such a thing. So fast forward up to current times, you're sending a load of single metal socket motherboards in. You're sending them all the same. Well, your buyer's paying the same price for the crappy plastic that he's paying for the good gold. That's where they made the break and they made the differentiation. Now the iCore boards are separated. The AMD boards, green, are separated as opposed to the AMD colored. They've just broadened out all the grading, and I think it's more fair. I'll tell you what was happening. Everybody was sending the crap to the refiner and keeping the good boards for themselves, and the refiner was paying top dollar. On the other side of the coin, those of us who sent all of our boards in were getting, I don't want to say cheated, it's an averaging thing, but those of us who were sending in good boards weren't getting the best price for them because of the way the grading system was. That's not a reflection on anybody. It's just the way it was, and it sucked. I kept all my old boards until I knew this was coming, and I'm very glad it did. I did very well. Instead of sending a bunch of them in and getting single metal socket green motherboard, I got Telecom because I knew what was on the board, for example. So it's a long and complicated process, and it's still not sorted out yet. All right. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. It's a long, complicated thing, and I don't have the time to get into it right now. The scrapped HDD magnets, I've got a bucket of them downstairs. How many can you save? What I do is I have a buyer who buys this as a hard drive, no board. So I'm just going to sell it that way. I know people beg me for these. By the way, if you want to pay 25 cents a pound, I'd be glad to sell you the hard drives just like this. No boards. But that's what they pay me for. You know what? It's worth my time. You got to understand, I do hundreds of these. So I don't have time to take them all apart. Yes, I know there's gold in the readers. Yes, I know there's gold in the laser eye. I don't do gold refining. These are the readers. There's gold in the tips. And these things are a real pain in the kisser to take apart. Ugh, you sit there with all these little fiddly... Oh, good, Wimbledon is on. Yay! You sit here with all these fiddly screws. There is gold here. That'll go after those gold pins. And I'll probably go after this. But by the time you get all of this off, you'll get a couple of platters and you'll get a magnet. You know when I rip these apart? When I need magnets. By the way, guys, be careful with those magnets. They're dangerous as. They're rare earth magnets, and they can really do a number on you. Sorry if I miss any of your comments as they go by. I was on my rant about the pricing. All right. This looks like an old Seagate. This might be stainless. Sometimes these covers are stainless, sometimes just steel, and sometimes you'll get a nice piece of aluminum out of them. This one looks like it might have been, this one looks stripped, like the wrong size. Screwdriver was used on it, yeah. This one's stripped. Crap. Hi, Mike Does Stuff. I love your videos. Very much. Thanks for the, I don't really, I have no idea about this fan club thing. I appreciate it. It's really cool and it's fun. If you're gonna ask me what I know what it's all about, I don't. I just know it means you guys like me. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mike Does Stuff. That was really nice of you. Mike Does Stuff has a fun channel. I love watching his channel. Alright, so these are stripped. The only way I'm going to get them off is, again, I'm going to have to take the angle grinder outside, cut a straight slit, and then I'll be able to get it off with a flat screwdriver. Because this is a board I definitely want to keep. This is a high-grade, non-SATA hard drive board. I'll put that over to the side. That probably came out of an old Mac or an IBM business machine, something vintage. That's a... Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, that's a really cool board. These came out of IBM blade modules. I think, let me just see. Yeah, these are IBM. Again, there is no resale. I don't resell hard drive boards. I'm not comfortable doing that. It's got the one piece. I can see gold fingers. I can see gold flashing in here. That's going to go as a mid-grade hard drive board for me. Everybody else, a low-grade board, but I disagree. I would never call... How could anybody call this a low-grade board? Really? I'll sell it myself as a mid-grade board in my store before I'll send that out to a refiner as a low-grade board. No way. Hi, Phil's Gold. Good morning to you. How are things in the Philippines? Are you all safe? We've got a nasty storm coming up the East Coast today, guys. Be careful if you're out and about. North Carolina's got some warnings out, and those poor people in Texas, God in heaven bless them all. This is why I hate doing hard drives. I get sick of all these fiddly little screws. Yes, I know. Get an electric screwdriver, D. They get noisy. Can't talk over that stuff. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you'd rather hear the tools than hear me. Patrick Kelly, good morning. Okay. I was doing my live yesterday, and I guess when you do your lives, a lot of times you don't even pay attention to the time. I love doing lives. There's nothing more I love than chatting with you guys and answering questions and asking questions, because I get a lot of really good info from you guys about stuff I really, frankly, know nothing about. I'm here to learn too, and the interaction in the lives is just so much fun. All right. Hi, Bert. Welcome. So, again, this is gold in here. Flush pliers. I'm going to go grab my coffee and grab my flush pliers. I only have to walk across the kitchen. The kitchen reno is going to be in the fall. I really don't want to ruin my summer. I fixed the base cabinets. I put a piece of plywood in. But all this counter and stuff all has to get replaced for the flood. My biggest concern right now is my bathroom. I can't use my shower and I can't use my tub because the subfloor got wet and it got wrecked. And my stink biscuit insurance company won't pay to fix it. So, remember when I told you I was camping outside all summer? I got a solar shower outside. I'm so afraid that I'll be in it and it's going to go right through the floor, So the kitchen is going to have to wait till I can fix the subfloor. That's alright. We'll get that fixed and then I'll fight with the insurance company later. Sir Mike? Alright. These are an awesome tool. If you're into gold recovery, these are flush cut pliers. These are great. You can get them at Harbor Yard for like $7 or $8. And just to show you, see, I would never put this as a low grade board. I would never. I wouldn't sell it as one, and I wouldn't buy it as one either, to tell you the truth. Look at that. So a lot of people would have chucked this into low grade. Not me. That is a high grade SATA connector. Non-SATA connector. High grade, non-SATA. It has fingers. That's a high grade all day, every day in this shop. Alright. And again, you know what? Board grading is not an exacting science. We do our best, we study it, do the best you can, and sell it to your buyer with the best you can attitude. And if you're wrong, they're going to write back and say, no. Or, hey, you guessed too low if you have an honest buyer. Like I do. My buyer's awesome. I sent him a batch of boards a couple of months ago. And he said, you shorted yourself. He said, these are much better. And I said, well, I went by what your grading thing told me. Oh, that's the other thing, too. For those of you who don't know, Board Sort is doing something called Oscar. Oscar is an AI grading tool. It's in beta testing right now, I think. It's pretty cool. They've got a video about it. It'll take a lot of the guesswork out of board sorting and component grading. This is a 3.5 floppy drive, and you betcha I'm going after that board. Look at that. And again, guys, I don't know if these work or not because I got them out of scrapped computers. If it's been scrapped, that tells me it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, I can't resell it. If I can't test it, I can't resell it. If you see something go by and you're interested in it, I probably have 10 more in the basement. Oh, buyers are going to want if you depopulate the board, you're going to get a low-grade board, not even a hard drive board, Jeremiah. That was a great question, by the way. Jeremiah asks, does your buyer buy it with it depopulated or not? Well, if I'm paying $18.50 a pound for hard drive boards like this, and somebody sends it to me with the chips off it, I'm not paying them no $18. So that was a great question. So to sell it as a high-grade board, you have to leave the chips on. Now what I do is I sell these to people who want to depopulate them. That's why I put them in the eBay store when I have enough to sell. I'd rather sell to one of you guys than sell it to a refiner who has tons of them coming in every day. Why wouldn't I help you guys? Yeah, no, that was a good question, Jeremiah. I needed to be more clear about that, and that was a great question. if you depopulate it, all you're going to get out of it is a low-grade board worth about 20 cents a pound. All right, shred. The car is full. It's ready to go to the scrapyard, but it is absolutely unhealthy outside. It's going to rain. I got to go out and tarp everything, but it's humid. We're going to get a bitch of a thunderstorm this afternoon. All right, I will save that. I have like a box of odds and ends scraps. People have asked me to save laser eyes, readers, things like that when I get a box full. I'm just the guy, you guys can just have it, just pay shipping. I'm only going to throw it in with shred, so. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the gifts. Cheers. I'm watching my time. I'm going to do this last one, and then I'm going to hop off so OTD can get started on his life. It was good to chat with you guys for an hour or so this morning. I just wanted to show you some of what I had on the desk. And again, now there's not really a category for these. I will throw this in with my CD-ROM driver boards. There's a high grade. That's another thing I break up too, is CD-ROM boards. And again, this is just me. This one would go as a high grade because it's got a non-SATA connection. This would have been connected with a ribbon wire. So it's older. Look at the gold pins. That's going to be a great board. I sell out of those pretty quick. And that'll be over there with those. So, again, vintage, non-vintage. Older the golder. That's as opposed to this one, which is newer. This is a true SATA connector, by the way. There's a jumper cable and the other cable. I'll have to take a look at the pins. I will pull this one apart. I may or may not get a piece of brass out of it, and I should get a decent board. The really new ones that are using the solid state technology, man, they're not worth it, in my opinion. Although if you want to watch Patrick Williams, Microscrap, he finds gold in everything. So this one I'll definitely take apart. How do I see what's in your store? Thank you, Mark. That was a great question. My store is CT Band Instruments. It is on eBay. I have a band instrument rental service, and I put an e-scrap department. Sometime before the end of the year, the thecomputerscrapper.com website will be up with purchases available. Problem is with eBay, I have to charge more money because of their fees, and I have no choice about that. But once I get the website up, you can also email me directly if there's a particular item you're looking for. I had a gentleman email me yesterday. He's looking for power supplies. I've actually gotten a lot of requests for power supplies. That's interesting. And I sell them for $0.25 a pound plus shipping, Or sometimes I'll just send them for shipping. But, anything I sell, I don't really give away because, Mark, if you look at my opening page, my profile page, you will see there are a lot of posts from my eBay store with different things that I have in there. And, so you can always look from there. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off and let Mr. OTD get in here and get started. I want to wish everybody a blessed day. If I go on live during the week, it's usually between 7 and 8. Like I said, I like to be out of the way. I always record my videos. They're either on my YouTube channel or here on TikTok if I didn't go over an hour. And, so you guys can always go back and look at whatever it is we talked about. So today's topic was media drives. I didn't get as many done as I intended to, but still a good video, good learning process, good sharing, and I've been getting from eBay, but they're more than proud of their stuff. Who's that? Me? All right. God bless everybody. My regular live is Sunday between 7 and 10, depending how late I sleep and how much I've had to drink the night before. All right. God bless. OTD. Good luck with your video today. Talk to you later. And Have a great day, everybody. Please, a nice prayer for those little angels in heaven from Texas. I feel so sorry for those families. Bye-bye.